Hi everybody, welcome to my channel and welcome to this field of some kind of crop. Wanted to talk a little bit about wheat and tares. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you end up liking it, hit the notification bell, and please do leave comments. I'd love to hear what you think. So we were just passing by this field. We're going for a drive right now, and it just made me think once again about wheat and tares. And I feel like right now the state of the church is a lot like this field. You know, you have a lot of like good, genuine crop that's growing, that's at some point going to be harvested. And then you have all this, I don't know what that is. I think it's some kind of grass, but you know, it doesn't look very good, does it? It kind of stands out from what the crop is. And you know, in the parable of the wheat and the tares look like the wheat, right? It's kind of hard to tell the difference, but like you can tell when you look close, and we know that at the end, when the harvest comes, that the tares are going to be separated out and they're going to be burnt. Well, I think that the state of the church right now is more like this, where you clearly have like two different types of plants that are growing, and I think it's becoming more and more obvious as time goes on. You know, those tares that are within the church that at this point don't really even resemble the crop that's being grown. And we're at a really sad point right now. You know, you have a lot of people talking about empathy, and it doesn't seem like they really know what that means. A lot of times when I look through, you know, YouTube or Facebook or any given place, you know, there seems to be some kind of like misconception about, well, let me put it this way. We know that in order to enter the kingdom of God, or in order to achieve the celestial kingdom, you have to keep the commandments, right? But it's not enough just to keep the commandments, because again, that's what the Pharisees and scribes and lawyers and stuff did during Jesus' time. They were very strict about keeping the commandments, and even making up rules so that, you know, kind of like a standard operating procedure so that you wouldn't even come close to breaking the commandments. You know, so a lot of them, I think, did keep the commandments, you know, perfectly and then some, but it didn't matter because they were doing it for the complete wrong reason. And most importantly, they didn't have any love in their hearts, because most of them were probably just sociopaths, psychopaths, and narcissists that, you know, even though they had looked like they were genuine believers, they were doing those things for the wrong reasons. They were just fakes. They were doing it because it was socially expedient for them to do so. And without having that genuine love of Christ in your heart, you know, you're kind of missing the point, because all the commandments are based around loving God and loving others. But then you have this other kind of like extreme that you can go, where you may genuinely love others, but to a fault, to where, you know, if all you have is just like love, but you don't have principles, or you're not living divine principles, or you're doing everything without that structure that God has given us called the commandments, that's no good either. And it's really good. I'd say that that's probably better than just being a person that just obeys the commandments, but you're doing it for the wrong reason. I think it's better to love, but it's still not complete. You have to have both. You have to live both the commandments, and you have to have love. Have love in your heart and have charity. Only in that way, when you have those two things, can you progress and go into the celestial kingdom. And it's really difficult right now because you kind of have two situations. You have the lookalikes, the people that are in the church, but they clearly, just like this field right here, it's like they don't really want to be the crop that's being grown. They want to stand out, they want to be different, they want to follow their own philosophies. But then, so you have them, and I think some of them are maybe genuine people that have hearts, but maybe they've been genuinely misguided and blinded by the craftiness of men and the philosophies of this world. But then you have the lookalikes among them that they're in the church and they want to look like those people. They want to look like they have empathy, but they don't. They're doing it for other reasons. They're doing it because, what the heck? But sorry, my wife's in the car now. We just pulled off to the side of the road. I'm just doing this quick video. So okay, so it's kind of complicated. It's simple, but it's complicated. So you have the side right now that's going against the church, and among them you have empaths that are genuinely misguided, and then you also have narcissists that want to look like the empaths, that basically they're just trying to harvest narcissistic supply, which, if you don't know what that is, it's getting attention from people, it's feeling special, it's trying to get status, it's trying to get validation from others, it's getting praise. It's all that stuff, right? Because when you're in the church but you go against it, you definitely stand out, right? So you're getting attention. And when you dig in your heels and you do it because you want arguments and you want to look like a hero for that side, you're getting attention, you're getting praise. And believe me, people that are narcissists, they do not have any principles at all. Whatever mask they're wearing it because it's one that they found that they feel that they can get attention with, right? So you're going to have religious narcissists, you're going to have secular narcissists, you're going to have rich narcissists, you're going to have poor narcissists, you're going to have capitalist narcissists, you're going to have socialist narcissists. Any organization, any idea that there is out there, there are going to be these narcissists that are the lookalikes that are wearing that mask, not really having those principles, but wearing that mask and getting supply. So I guess what I'm saying is the people right now that are going against the church and against church doctrine, some of them are genuinely blinded, some of them are just narcissists and they know exactly what they're doing and they don't care about the principles on their side that they're supposedly fighting for, or the principles of the church. And that's not to say that on the other side, those that are fighting for the commandments and fighting for the doctrines of the church, that's not to say that there aren't narcissists there too that have taken this stance, right? They're lookalikes, they're terrors, and it's just complicated. But we know that there is a harvest that's coming, and that our days are limited on this earth, and that this isn't going to go on forever, and that Christ is coming soon. And so all those tares, all the lookalikes on both sides of this issue are going to be sorted out. I think most likely those people that do have love in their heart, that are empaths, will probably eventually find the truth, and then they'll align themselves with the Lord, his principles, and the gospel. And maybe not all of them will, because just because you're an empath and you have a heart doesn't mean that you necessarily are going to agree with the gospel. So I'm sure that there's some that just never will, but I think that they're more likely because when you're not living a narcissistic life and you're living a genuine life, you're more accepting of truth, right? Because the truth doesn't go against your very nature like it does with narcissism. Narcissists are fake. They don't like the principles of the gospel. Anyway, this is like a really complicated. I thought this was going to be a more simple video. I feel like this is where we're at right now, that the tares that are within the church and also in the world and in Christianity, it's just becoming more and more obvious who they really are. And it's a sad thing to say. It doesn't mean that we don't love them. What the heck, honey? I'm doing a video. It doesn't mean that we don't love them and that we don't want them to join our side and become like us and partake of the bread of life and drink from the well of water of Christ that will quench our thirst. But that's just where we are, and the separation is happening. It's obvious, and we gotta stick to our principles. We have to have both love but also have principles, right? And follow the prophet and follow the general authorities. They're not going to lead us astray. And yes, they are men, and they may mess up with, like, when they speculate about things like maybe where is the New Jerusalem going to be? Is it in Salt Lake or is it in Missouri? Or theories about whatever. But like when it comes to doctrine, they're not gonna lead us astray, and they haven't. So you guys, we gotta have both. It's great to love and have empathy. Empathy is simply the ability to put yourself into somebody else's shoes and think about how they feel. That doesn't mean that you adopt their point of view. It doesn't mean that you fight for their cause. Like, I feel empathy for every single person that's addicted to drugs, alcohol, smoking. I can imagine that. That's empathy, but that does not mean that I condone it or think that it's right. And I'm gonna try and help them overcome that struggle, overcome it, and not do it anymore, because I want them to be happy like me. And they're always, for the rest of their lives, gonna want to smoke. Just because you give it up, it doesn't mean that desire goes away. We're all blessed with a memory, and we can think back on our lives and be like, oh yeah, remember when I used to smoke, and that was really great. And it's for the rest of your life. That's what being a Christian is. You permanently change yourself. You overcome the natural man, whatever it is the natural man wants you to do, and you do it for life. And then it continues on into eternity. You're not going to be smoking in heaven. You're not going to be doing drugs in heaven. So that's just how it is. It's a very contentious thing, and I understand, but yeah, we have to have both. We have to have love, empathy, but also stick to the doctrines of the church and the gospel, and stick to the commandments that a perfect God has given us. So I'm going to leave it there. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure to like the video, hit the notification bell, and leave your comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say, regardless of what side you're on. I value everybody's opinions, and I do have my own, but it's good to hear what everyone has to say and think about it, and use that information going forward, and hopefully have more understanding of each other, if nothing else. And I'll talk to you guys later.